Hey, whoa, yeah, a little close to my camera. Anyway, it's a Packers show during the honors, NFL honors.
Jair Alexander. They keep playing. They keep showing Jair Alexander on NFL honors.
For the honors. I want to see the honorable.
Yeah, he didn't play for half the year, but
trash who never
they
plays.
keep showing him.
It's a major distraction. Honorable distraction over here. You win the honor of this year's distracting player. Aaron Rodgers held it for many years, but now pass the torch to you, Jair.
Yeah.
You POG. How's it going, bro? Last show for a while before.
Oh, is it the last show for a while? Okay.
I put that in the description. It's the last show. Maybe I didn't tell you, but that's why you got to read the description. Last show before we take a off-season break or a little, just like the coaches get away. We get away for a while. Using Grandpa's opener tonight. I'm having one beer. Using the old rule for the show. Once the beer's gone, the show is over. Regardless of what needs to be said. Once this beer's gone, the show's over.
Okay.
It's Golden Nail tonight, so it's a good one. Easy drinker with this guy on there. I told Sarah, if you like beer, you should like John Jones because they got all these things. They got the Cyclops, and they got like warriors and dwarves and all kinds of stuff on their beer labels. So I figured if you were to like a beer, it might be one of theirs just because they're labels. You might like them. I have two key things tonight. Two key things. Okay. I know you said brought up Josh Jacobs. I watched Josh Jacobs talking to Florio and Sims, but I didn't see what else happened. Did something else exciting happen with Josh Jacobs?
No, he just said the same thing later, and that's about it.
He said he was healthy for the first time. Never felt better, even though he's old as hell.
When you never have a carry more than like 10 yards, except for the one time where he broke 5 tackles in the playoff run, and that was about it.
Dude, come on.
He's not a very dynamic player.
Yeah, but he also got hit the most of any running back. Had the most broken tackles.
Like I said, he's well, I mean, if you have no speed, yeah, you get hit a lot.
Also, come on, don't poo-poo on Josh.
I'm going to poo-poo on him.
He's a good dude. He's a good back.
Is he a good dude?
I think so.
I don't think Aaron Jones would have been.
He got a nice smile.
Calling out and smacking dudes, calling them out left and right.
Who's he calling out? I missed it. What'd he say?
Did you watch the Florio and Sims interview?
Well, who'd he call out? He said Jordan Love is the guy. He said he's a dude.
They asked him what they need to do to get better for next year, and he said we need another pass rusher. He said we need another defensive back, and we need a number 1 wide receiver who's proven.
And I like the guys we got, but
he says he likes the guys we got, but we need somebody who's consistent, which is what I said 2 weeks ago, and you.
So why do you hate Josh?
I don't want a number 1 receiver.
You said now you're mad at him, or you say
I'm not mad at him. You don't say that in public because now Jaden Reed is mad at him.
Jaden Reed's mad at him?
Yeah, and so is Davion Wicks is mad at him.
Should have told both those guys to stop dropping so many balls.
I know, but then they're going to say, well, don't fumble. And they're going to say, maybe have a run that's longer than 4 yards once in a while.
Oh, now it starts.
I'm just saying. When a guy starts talking smack, now he wasn't talking smack. I don't know what he was doing.
He was just trying to get through it. He's trying to recruit.
Apparently, he's not that smart.
Well, I never said he was smart. I said he was pretty nice. He got a nice smile for a guy that played
he's not as nice as the nicest human being on earth.
No one could be as nice as him.
And we shipped him out of town to pay that guy. Big mistake.
Well, we all know the guy we should have gotten was the guy who's playing the Super Bowl. Like, if you're going to spend big money, go get that dude. Like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, right.
Which is why we can't.
No, but what I'm saying is this.
Talk about tonight. Go ahead.
So Jaden Reed is telling fans to F off.
What? Jaden
Reed? Dontavion Wicks is saying, "Screw you, Josh Jacobs."
This is the windfall from Josh Jacobs.
And it all. You know where it all starts from? Don't you know where it starts from?
Started from you. You're the one that said it first.
No, this all goes back to Matt LaFleur. And how he constantly protects the quarterback and blames everybody else.
That's fair.
And now Josh Jacobs is saying, "Oh, the receivers suck." Well, last I checked, when you pay a guy $55 million a year, it's to make up for the fact that your receivers suck.
Say it.
Isn't that what you do?
I think so. That's what, like, isn't that what Mahomes had to do and some other dudes did, right?
Does Mahomes have anybody to throw to? Not really. Does Josh Allen have anybody to throw to? Not really.
And who makes more
Because
money?
Matt LaFleur doesn't hold Jordan Love accountable, yet calls out receivers in the press conferences.
That's fair.
The whole team, the dynamic in that room, in the locker room, is now going to be a lot different. And now you got Josh Jacobs, who's apparently a leader of the team, because Jordan Love isn't a fucking leader.
Nope, he's not a
Aaron
leader.
Jones was the leader last year, and this year we had no leader. Who was it? Josh Jacobs and Mr. Xavier McKinney, who rolls his eyes and gets mad every time a bad play happens. Great leaders. No, not great leaders. Not nearly as good as the fans and Goody and the Packers tell us they are. Not saying they're bad players, just saying they're not the great, amazing players that everybody says they are. But the sad part is they're the two best players on the team because Goody can't draft.
Whoa, now you're getting crazy. Come on.
No. So that's where it all
Goody's had the best drafts in the history of all time.
Okay, stop. So what do you think about that? You got Josh Jacobs saying the receivers aren't any good. He's saying, no, luckily he didn't name names.
No. But then when they did say Christian Watson, he's a maniac. He could just stay healthy.
Yeah, he did say good things about Christian Watson, yes.
He did say he is a freak, a maniac, but he just can't play.
My question to you and all the fans is,
all right, give it to me. Sorry.
What do you think will happen now? And do you believe what I'm saying? Do you think because Matt LaFleur in his press conferences is shielding Jordan Love, and calling out everybody else, because he's the first person to point the finger? It was Matt LaFleur. Before it used to be Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
But now Matt LaFleur is pointing the finger, saying the guy didn't run the right route, or a guy didn't, whatever. I don't know, all kinds of stuff. Right? Even though it was a bad throw. And it was a no-look pass that he just threw to a guy because he didn't look and see the defender was there. We went over all that stuff a month ago in the videos. I'm saying Matt LaFleur is starting to lose the team because there is no true leader, and LaFleur doesn't know how to lead.
That's hilarious. Keep going, but I have
we have no leader. Jordan Love doesn't know how to lead.
I'm gonna look it up.
So there you go. That's what I'm thinking.
I don't disagree with any of those things you just said. It's super funny because I just saw this today. It was just announced that, and I want to make sure I get it right. So I think it's the Wisconsin Hospital Association. Let me just check them out here. WHA, because I get that stuff now because I work in the healthcare industry. Okay. Wisconsin WHA, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so the Wisconsin Hospital Association is having a big leadership forum, and the keynote speaker just confirmed Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur is the keynote speaker, a proven leader who's been able to bring people together and have proven success. That's what we're going to get for the Wisconsin Hospital Association big meeting this spring. Matt LaFleur in Madison, leadership talk from the ultimate leader, LaFleur. First of all, I don't think he's a very good speaker, so to have him be like keynote is very weird to me because he's not very engaging. He's very unsure of himself when he talks most of the time, and I am curious maybe to go to see how short he is, but in person and tower over him a little bit and maybe slip him some advice in the process. But anyway, neither here nor there. But Matt LaFleur as giving a leadership talk is ironic to me because like you said, I don't think he has shown the ability to lead probably a dog to a bowl of food. Is that a good analogy?
I don't know.
Okay, well, it's one I came up with on the spot. So I'm going to say it's good because that's all you have to do now is just say whatever you say you're good, and then you say it enough times and people believe it. Okay. So, I mean, worked for Tyrone Williams back in the day, works for all the Packer players. They'll tell you how good they are all the time, and everybody thinks they're good, even though they're not. We've said it over and over again. Truth and reality versus perception. And everyone knows that repeating messages enough times, at least some people will believe that's actually the truth. And unfortunately, more people than not believe it is because they just hear it over and over. That, well, that must be true. Well, how about you use your eyes and you use your brain and you use your ability to, evaluate things, especially in the football sphere when we're talking about Packers, and just trust what you see. Because a lot of guys that these Packers tout to us don't pass the eye test. But I have a plan on one of them that doesn't pass the eye test, hoping that he could be a key to getting the Packers to where they want to go. Anyway, let's go back to your initial thing. Sorry, I had to get that aside in there because you brought Matt LaFleur and oh my God, it was just all put together. All right. I did not know about the windfall or the fallout of all the receivers. I know Josh Jacobs said it. I guess I was getting a little tired towards the end of that interview, so I guess I didn't fully appreciate the gravity of that. I was watching it right before I went to bed. But yeah, I think it was a little uncomfortable. I don't think he thought where he was going with it at first. I think he was thinking that I think he was thinking that would help land like one of these veteran dudes who's on the market, right? To be like, you're like one of the only pieces we need to get us over the hump or something. But in the process, I guess he pissed off a bunch of these young dudes, which I guess in the receiver world especially is probably going to happen. The one question I have for you after all of that stuff is, wasn't it about time that this receiver group was going to start to fracture anyway in this upcoming season? Didn't you think it was probably it was due, right?
I think it already did fracture, and it started with when Dobbs decided to not show up for practice, and then all that just escalated into other things.
Mm-hmm.
Because eventually, when you have a bunch of guys who are told that just tote the company line, and they're not seeing the numbers, and they're not being used as the main guy when they all believe they can be the main guy, but then they also have inconsistencies and drops, it's a big mess, and that's probably the biggest problem. Like we said in the past, Matt LaFleur should have picked a guy and said, this is the guy, and made him a target on multiple plays, right? Like there was no...
Or had some more defined roles at least, right? Because they talked a lot about, these guys can play these different spots and play all these different spots and yada yada. And that's great. The versatility is great, especially when you have injuries. But at the same time, it's a similar thing to the offensive line where guys don't get used to being in a certain role and they don't probably get the reps you should get to where you can kind of achieve your ultimate status in that role, like really excel in it. And so instead, you've got these guys that are pretty good at a number of different things, but not really flashing off at any one thing at all. So it's hard for them to. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just the other thing is, and I hate to bring up Josh Jacobs again, but the offense changed from last year to this year. It became more reliant on the running game. Josh Jacobs got way more carries than Aaron Jones ever dreamed of getting when he was a Packer. I can tell you that. And he was not as dynamic. And like, I think I said this either before the playoff game or after the playoff game. I think it might have been right before, that defenses aren't afraid of him. So they play back more, and and Josh Jacobs still could only get 4 yards or what. I don't know. He has to break tackles, but it's like, they're not like coming up and putting 8 guys in the box, even with him, because they're not worried about him taking it to the house. So the receivers do have a little bit more trouble back there because there isn't a whole lot of passing lanes. And Jordan Love can't read the defenses and also isn't very accurate, which leads to more problems. And we don't know. I mean, from watching the film, it looked like some of the plays were just crap and they weren't even like drawn up for a certain guy to get open. Or if they were, Love didn't look to the right guy based on what we looked at on the film. Sometimes he just threw it to wherever the hell he felt like it. Like, this guy's one-on-one. I'm going to chuck it to him. And sometimes it worked. And we got some plays. Like we got a big bomb to Christian Watson or something, or Romeo Dobbs every now and again. And then those plays scored us points. But a lot of times it was 1, 2, 3 and out, 1, 2, 3 and out. Just no actual cohesiveness on the offense all year long, really, except for when Malik Willis was in there. And they were running a whole totally different system. And then all of a sudden, guess what? Jaden Reed was getting balls thrown his way, and he was making plays. And then when Jordan Love was healthy, Jaden Reed disappeared. I don't know what happened. So, and that can affect these guys. And I'm telling you, it all goes back to the quarterback. This guy is $55 million a year.
Josh Jacobs said he's a dude. He's definitely a guy. He's the guy.
He said he has a crazy arm, is what he said.
Oh,
and he said he also said when he figures it out, he's going to be something, which means he hasn't figured it out yet. So why do we pay him $55 million a year when Josh Jacobs said when he figures it out, he's going to be something, which means he hasn't figured it out. I'm just, there's a whole bunch of quarterbacks that can throw the ball really hard or throw the ball with, and though I don't think Jordan Love's really all that great, but anyways,
we do know why though. We know the answer. We've talked about the answer many times. It's the Goody. Goody drafted him.
Yes.
So he had to pay him.
I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. I've heard a lot listened to some Wildy and Tausch. I listened to a couple other people.
But those guys,
Andy Herman's trying to poo-poo it, of course, and make it not a big deal.
Right, not a big
Wildy
deal.
and Tausch make it a big deal.
Tom Grassi, one of those two guys played in a Packer locker room, so they might have a good.
That's what Tausch said. He's never heard anybody do that before. Go out and like pretty much say, we want you to be replaced with a guy who could actually do the job more consistently.
Ooh.
That's pretty much what Josh Jacobs said. And if the defensive ends had any brains, they would hear that also. He seems to think that we need a better pass rush, which we do. He's not wrong on any of the things he said. We need defensive back help, yes, because we have a Jair who's a freaking crazy man, and that's about it. We don't have like Keyshawn. That's all we got, right? And
Carrington Valentine, he was so good. That was why he felt confident getting rid of Rasul because we had Carrington.
Yeah. But anyways. And then in pass rush, we got nobody. I mean, Sean Gary's making a whole lot of money and not doing anything.
Goody's
and that leads to the other big thing of the week that you want to talk about. Let's go.
I got one other thing to follow up on that. It just popped in my brain before. I wonder if Josh Jacobs thought about how consistently and how hard all these receivers that he referenced block for him all the time versus some well-known veteran Devontae style guy who ain't going to block shit. Did you think about that, Josh? Because that matters. When the receivers block, it matters. When they don't block, it matters.
Well, it doesn't really matter for Josh Jacobs because he doesn't really get the ball. He doesn't really go more than 2 yards downfield. So the fact that the receivers are blocking or not really doesn't affect his runs. No offense to Josh Jacobs, but actually all 100% offense to him. I'm a dick tonight. I'm really tired and crabby, and I'm just shocked because the guy that we signed, we cut Aaron Jones for this guy.
Yeah.
And he got way more opportunities than Aaron Jones ever could dream of.
Right.
The team didn't do as well as they did last year. And when Aaron Jones was hurt most of the year last year, but when he came back, the offense was unstoppable.
Yeah, but they also ran it through him. They started with him, right? So it's
yes, but in a way, his last 5 games as a Packer, he had 100 yards rushing every game.
Right.
The passing game was on fire. Everything was working.
Right, because the teams adjusted and had to load up and stop him.
Right.
And you're saying they're not as afraid of Jacobs, so they don't commit as much.
Right.
Defensively. So
he's not a dynamic. He might be a great guy and he can break tackles.
Yeah.
But he's not a dynamic player.
Mm-hmm.
And now we find out he might be a good guy, but he doesn't seem to be using his brain when he's talking to reporters. And now that could lead to messes with the team. So, that's what I got to say.
So many people have said they want more truthful answers from people. So, I mean,
then they're getting them.
I guess
and the sad part is I don't disagree with anything he said.
Right. He's got a nice smile too. He seems like a likable guy with a really nice smile. It's very white and it seems very joyful, but maybe fewer people are smiling with him after he says this stuff. Check this. This is one of my Christmas gifts this year. It is a Bluetooth Packer speaker. So now if I want to listen to some stuff, music or anything else, or maybe the Hafen Bros recap shows or any of that stuff, I can check it out on my Packer speaker, which makes it sound even better than a regular speaker.
Okay.
Did you know that?
Sure. I don't know. Well, that's awesome.
All right. So here's the other big dog news, and the Packers have said how many times don't they tell us every year the goal is to win a championship in Green Bay? The expectations are to win the Super Bowl and blah 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 blah. Okay. And we had, I don't know how many years we really feel the Packers were all in for that in our lifetime. There were a few, right? And there were a few things just came together and all that sort of stuff. But then one of them was early on, some moves that were early on back in the 90s where they went for it. They were like, we got to solidify some stuff. We got to get these guys in here. We got to get proven guys in here. Hey, Lee's just showing up. David's here. Hey, Lee, how you doing? And now we've talked about, and we learned from the off season and from the recap of the season that the Packers most of the time had to simulate pressure and not actually play the defense that Jeff Hafley wanted to play because they couldn't get enough pass rush from their front four. Then so that was one thing. So we thought the defense was improved, but then Matt LaFleur was like, well, we didn't get to play what we wanted to most of the time. He let that out. I don't know why he said it, but he said it. So, and then you have Josh Jacobs saying we need better pass rushers, and it is clear we need better pass rushers. Then there's a dude who's a maniac and a monster. I couldn't even believe he's as big as he is. When I was like, is that really him? I thought that was a D tackle. Guy's a beast. And Myles Garrett comes out and says, that's it, Cleveland. I love you, but come on, man. You guys are going nowhere. I want a chance to win. I want a chance to play in big games, help be a difference maker in those big games for a team that can contend. Okay. So then I see the odds list. I'm thinking, Packers, what are we doing here? We love edge guys. And what are we doing here? And then I see the list, the odds list, and the Packers are way down, like eighth, the seventh or sixth or seventh or eighth team in the odds to land Myles Garrett, and all these other teams are way ahead of them and all this stuff. I'm like, why? Why is that the case? Because we are in need of a dominant pass rusher. We are in need of a guy who can win one-on-ones. We are in need of better edge players and another edge player for sure. Right? All those things are true. So why? And the Packers have said they made the investment in Jacobs. They made the investment in McKinney. They made the investment in Love. All these receivers are going to start to come up for contracts and get expensive or have to be replaced. A number of young defensive guys are going to have to come up for contract or be replaced. All that stuff is happening, right? So is it now the time to go for it? Is it now the time to go for it? Plus, history will tell you. Here's a couple history lessons. Brett Favre's third year as a starter, he won the Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers' third year as a starter, he won the Super Bowl. Jordan Love's third year as a starter is next season, this upcoming season. So Packer history will tell you, third season with your new quarterback is the time you win the Super Bowl. So let's go for it, right? It's a position we need, position we continually draft and miss on. And here's a dude who's dominant, really good, saying he wants out. The price tag could be kind of high, but does that really matter if you're getting a guaranteed good player? Doesn't matter. What would you rather have, Ben? 2 Goody first-round picks or Myles Garrett?
Well, and that's the other thing. People were talking about money and this and that and how much it's going to cost. And well, yes, but he's going to want an extension if he gets traded. I'm assuming. But think about if you trade your first, right? But we could have got rid of Kenny Clark last year and saved a whole bunch of money. We'd have tons of money to get Myles Garrett right now, but we can't now. Now we have to stick with Kenny Clark because otherwise we lose money. Just like we have to stick with Rashawn Gary or else we lose money.
We got a big savings on Jair after June 1, though. Big savings.
Yes, but, Jair will be gone, no doubts. But what I'm saying is this. Ronnie Wolf went and Mike Holmgren called Reggie White and told him he was God and he should go to the Packers. Maybe we need Mike Holmgren to call Myles Garrett and tell him to get traded to the Packers. I don't know. But when Reggie came, we won. Charles Woodson picked him up. We won. We need a superstar defensive player of the year type monster guy on this team to win a Super Bowl. And here's the other thing is our quarterback is not nearly as good as those two quarterbacks were. I mean, well, no, I'll take that back.
Well, during those years,
Brett Favre wasn't that great, but
that year, those years,
he was a little risky. He was a little risky, but he performed well in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl, obviously, because
he was control.
He changed the play twice, had 2 bomb touchdowns, and blah blah. But
it was at least sort of controlled by Holmgren, which helped him be.
Yeah, but that's the biggest thing is we need a splash, and that's the type of splash we need. If it costs you 2 first rounders, who gives a crap? And if and everybody's like, oh, but the draft's in Green Bay, and if we don't have a first round pick, well, that's great. Then I can stay home and watch it draft on TV because it's going to be crazy the first day. But then I can go the second and third day to Green Bay and watch the picks and do the Packers stuff. And you know what? Just trot Myles Garrett out there and say, hey, I'm here.
Your first round pick.
I'm way better than a first round pick. Trust me. Just take a look at freaking Morgan from last season and Van Ness from the year before. I'm way better than those 2 chumps.
Hold on. So that's the other thing. People are talking about 2 first rounders and some other stuff and some pick swaps because they were comparing to some people looked up what Florio talked about the Khalil Mack trade and some other stuff. I have a thought though, right? So if you're the Browns and you already owe Deshaun Watson all this money and you're like, oh shoot, could we save a little money here if we're gonna give up this dude? If you're the Packers, why not make your offer a little different? Everybody else is just going to offer picks. Why wouldn't you, as the Green Bay Packers, say, you know what? We've got this young stud player. He also looks great in the weight room. And he's cheap. He's on his rookie contract. You can control him for another few years if you want. And we'll give you LVN in a first rounder. And then we can swap some picks. What about that? Cleveland?
I think that needs to happen because number one, he's not going to get playing time.
Exactly.
And he hasn't developed.
Prefer to be actually Rashawn Gary, maybe, but just because of the contract.
We can't. No, the contract's too high. Cleveland can't afford him.
Right. But LVN in a first round pick?
LVN could be worth it. And trade Christian Watson too.
Okay.
LVN, I know he's hurt, but he's hurt for half the year. Cleveland doesn't care. And then they could sign him to an extension and they'll have a speedy, tall receiver.
Right.
So trade Watson and LVN and next year's first round pick. So we can still have this year's first round pick and maybe this year's second round pick. And there you go. A first, a second, 2 players for Myles Garrett. And we go win the Super Bowl. As long as Jordan Love doesn't suck ass.
You're giving him a number 13 choice from just a couple of years ago.
And Devontae Wyatt's just got to change his number. That's all. So what? just like Yurko had to change his number when Reggie came. Yurko was 92. He had to switch to 64. He was okay with it.
Yeah, just do it. So I thought it was a great way to unload LVN and get rid of that mistake. Yeah. And give the Browns a player back where they can start him and they can see, maybe he becomes something. Maybe they turn him into something. I don't know what they do with him, but who knows? Maybe they use him differently and he turns into something, whatever. But at least you got something. And then, Watson, throw him in there too. That sounds like a good move because he can't play half the time anyway. And he would be a prospect guy that if Cleveland evaluated, they might look at the potential and be like, man, if we could ever get him healthy and we could sign him cheap to a second contract because he has had the injury issues. And then if he got healthy and grew into his body more or whatever, or we got him on a different training plan or whatever the situation was, you might have a stud there. Maybe they'll go for that. I don't know. Maybe. But I would like it. Here's the other thing. For anybody that's not sure about really, really pursuing the Packers need to go hard at this. They need to make a strong, competitive offer. Like they got to pursue this dude. These guys don't come around all the time. The other time the Packers have done it, it worked, right? You need a guy who's going to help put you over the hump. You need a guy that when he gets an opportunity on a one-on-one, he's not just going to be stymied and stuffed and do nothing. He's also big enough. You can switch him. You can get versatile. You can bring him inside. You can rush from the inside. You can rush from the outside. And you've switched to the 4-3, so he actually fits your scheme. Unlike when you finally sign Julius Peppers and play him at outside linebacker when he's a defensive end, right? Anyone who's not sold on going hard, I'm all in. Like, do it. I want the Packers to be front and center and go for it. But anyway, here's a couple other little historical things for you, for everybody out there, if you're not quite sold on this decision, okay? Some people might say this is coincidental. I say it's a sign. Do you know how many seasons Reggie White played with the Eagles before he came to the Packers?
Yeah, it must be the same as Myles Garrett. Must be 8.
It is 8. This exact same as Myles Garrett. Do you know how many seasons Julius Peppers, who the Packers signed 4 years too late, played with Carolina before the Bears signed him, where he was very good for the Bears?
No.
8.
You're telling me he was 12 years in the league when we signed him?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and he played a couple more years after that because he's
I know. Well, he was good.
He was insane. But what I'm saying to you is this is the magic time for a dominant defensive end, not an edge, not an outside linebacker, a defensive end, a true defensive end. 8 years in is the time to get him. Proven with Julius Peppers, proven with Reggie White. Go get this dude. Get him in, sign him, get him for 4 years, tear up the league, have him make your defense awesome. Jeff Hafley's still the coordinator. Robert Saleh, sorry, I know you were hoping Hafley would get a job and you get to take over, but now you're at San Francisco anyway. It's fine. But give Hafley this dude. Pair him with the other guys we got. I mean, it's an upgrade from everybody that the Packers have and instantly makes there's so much more versatility there. Like if you got him pass rush downs and you think, Enigbari is a pretty good pass rusher, we can bring him in on the outside. Let's move Garrett inside to go with Wyatt or somebody else. Get Kenny Clark the hell out. Get the guys who can't pass rush off the field and see what the kind of noise you can make with a 4-man pass rush. Everybody wants to do it in the NFL. Rush 4 and drop 7, right? Packers couldn't do it too often, or they had to do it in weird ways, which left some holes and guys made mistakes. So this is a way you can play more straight up. You can have a dude that'll just dominate, and I want to see it. And it's 8 years. History tells you 8 years. That's when you get the guy after 8 years. And history also tells you the Packers, when they got guys like this, it paid off. When they got Reggie, it mattered. They need to do it. I don't care what they have to give up, but I'd love to see him get rid of LVN in the process. So that's what I want to make sure I got out there. Let's see if anybody else have any thoughts on that. Lee's here. If no big moves are made, I'm going to approach Green Bay expectations different for a while. We're kind of at a crossroads. Green Bay is meant to be consistently above average team, no longer upper tier from now on. Well, I think the expectations had to be adjusted a while back, Lee, because the Packers were selling all of us a bill of goods that we're trying to compete for championships, and really they were just trying to be competitive so they can make money. Pretty much it. And if some stuff, they were never going to really expose themselves to try to go after stuff. They were basically, if things were going to fall their way, right, Ben? If it was going to, if some things happened and came their way, then they could have, some of those teams could have won the Super Bowl, but they were never in a position to impose their will to make sure that they won the Super Bowl or they got there, right? Stuff had to break their way in order for it to happen. So the Packers haven't been real Super Bowl contenders for a while. But with a move like this and the building blocks they have and some of the guys coming back that played awesome as rookies like Cooper and Evan Williams and stuff like that, well, maybe you got something. Maybe the Packers could have a dominant defense for once. Maybe that's how you get there, right?
Well,
maybe you don't need to have your $55 million quarterback play like a $55 million quarterback. Maybe he could play more like Brad Johnson or Trent Dilfer or somebody like that, and then you still win.
The key thing that the Packer fans need to remember is when the Packers won the Super Bowl in the 96-97 season, they had the number 1 rated defense in the NFL. When the Packers won the Super Bowl in the 2010-2011 season,
it's fair,
they had the number 1 rated defense in the NFL. So it wasn't the quarterback. Now, did the quarterback get all the credit? Yes. Did Packer fans praise the quarterback, even though the defense was number 1? Yes. Now, did the quarterback make great plays and, help to win the game? Yes, for sure. But to win a championship, your defense needs to be top notch. And Jeff Hafley had us in the top 5 in scoring, I think, in top 10 in yards or something like that. So that's not too bad in his first year, especially when you're thinking he's got no pass rush at all.
And no corners for the most part.
Jair Alexander sitting on the bench more than half the year. So, yeah, I mean, it's the type of move that will prove to Packer fans that they're ready to go now. And to be quite honest, I hate to bring up Matt LaFleur again, but there comes a point where, take a dump or get off the toilet, that kind of thing. And he's been around. This is for 6 years or whatever it is.
It's time to win one.
And it's just not happened. And this year, and the saddest part is, I've heard a lot of people be like, wait a minute, we won more games this year than we won last year. Why is everybody so much more down this year? Well, because last year nobody expected anything. And it was exciting to just get to the playoffs. And then we won the playoff game in a dominant fashion.
Mm-hmm.
This year, the team was inconsistent all year long with injuries and guys not playing and stuff like that. And they just squeaked by to make plays as much as they could. And then because that inconsistency had never felt right all year. I mean, they beat the bad teams, and whenever they came up against a team that they maybe had to actually like make some plays every now and again to beat them, they couldn't do it. And that's why this year feels so bad. And when they lost in the playoffs, they got dominated.
Right.
Yeah, they played the Eagles.
1-5 in the division too. Is just that's.
Right. And then when you look at the Eagles, and they had 2 cornerbacks that the Packers could easily drafted. They were both drafted after we took Jordan Morgan. And they were both starting and been playing all year long and playing great. And we had a guy who didn't play all year. Now he was injured for a lot of it too. But still, he wouldn't, even if he would have been healthy, he shouldn't have been on the field because he wasn't a top 5 offensive lineman on the team. And those are the type of things that really bother you. But
yeah,
that's why it feels so bad. That's why Matt LaFleur, you question what is the goal or what is the focus of his head coaching as a Packer. Like Mike Holmgren won the Super Bowl pretty quick. It was earlier than his 6th year because he started in 92, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or was it 91? 91 or 92 he started.
92.
They won in 96, so his 4th year. Mike McCarthy won after he had Brett Favre. Mike Holmgren didn't have Brett Favre. He had the Magic Man, but Magic Man got hurt. And
right.
And McCarthy won it in 3-4 years. I think 4 or 5 years. No. Yeah. So I don't know, man.
Right.
I think it's 5 years for McCarthy. His 5th year.
Right.
And this was LaFleur's 6th year. And now it's going into his 7th.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the team has, if anything, showed regression last year.
It's won a lot of games.
It didn't show. The only thing that showed progression was Jeff Hafley's defense.
Mm-hmm.
He's the guy I have more faith in at this point. And I don't completely blame LaFleur because he doesn't shop for the groceries. That's Goody. And the groceries aren't that great. He's shopping at Walmart for groceries instead of going to a good grocery store.
Right now they're overpriced and they're not that good.
Yeah.
Damn. Goody.
He's buying his groceries from Trader Joe's. Like, go to a good grocery store, man.
He's getting Walmart quality.
I don't know. But anyways, so can we make a move? Can we do the thing that we need to do?
Yeah.
Of all the things everybody wants, the Devontae Adams, I don't want that.
No.
Now, can we get a guy who's consistent and catch the ball?
Sure.
Or a crazy athletic freak like DK Metcalf?
Sure.
I would be okay with DK Metcalf.
He'd scare some people.
Yes, because we're not going to have Christian Watson for half the year, or at the very best. It might be the whole year for all we know.
Mm-hmm.
But Myles Garrett would be insane. Is it crazy? Do 31 teams fans are going and saying, can we get Myles Garrett? Yes. We're not the only fan base saying, can we get Myles Garrett? But we are the only fan base who has seen it twice in the past where the team gets a superstar defensive player of the year
Right.
with a young up-and-coming quarterback on the team. The defensive player is the leader that the young quarterback needs because the young quarterback is not a great leader. And that defensive player of the year becomes the minister of defense.
Sets the tone.
It sets the tone for the whole team, and then
Mhm.
everybody follows him. And that takes the pressure off the young quarterback so that he can just whip it and flip it and make plays. It doesn't have to be the leader of the team. Though Favre was a good leader. Rodgers, not so much. Maybe he was okay when he was younger. Love, zero leadership at all. And I don't know if Myles Garrett's a great leader. I mean, he ripped that guy's helmet off and tried to smack him in the head at one time. That was probably not exactly the smartest move in the world. But hopefully it was just the heat of the moment. And he's, that was a few years back. Now going into his ninth season at 29 years old. Hopefully he can, be a little more aware and not such crazy.
Yeah.
But I did see his interview with Rich Eisen yesterday, and he seems legit. I liked the way he put out there that he wanted to be traded. It was very matter of fact. And, it seemed like he really thought about it a lot and realized, hey, like, we're not in a good place, this team. We made a move for Wiener Boy quarterback. It screwed it up. Now we still on a contract with him for 2 more years. And it's a huge contract. We're not going to be able to get anybody in here. The cupboard is bare. And there's no chance of us making the playoffs or doing anything. And I'm sick of being on a team that stinks. And he wants to go to a winner.
I saw some Cleveland fans say, Myles Garrett, finally doing what Joe Thomas should have done.
Yeah.
Which another dude who was awesome player and just never really got a chance to win. But
yeah,
that's and it brings you back to that one thing about teams and loyalty and all this sort of stuff and players and loyalty. And it's like it is not consistent. It is not the same standard. It's like everybody expects the players to be loyal to the team, but the teams cut and get rid of people and ship them out and all the time. And everybody's like, oh, that's just the team doing business. Well, I get some of that. You got to have some buy-in for the team. The players make up the team. You got to have some of that loyalty, but at the same time, there comes a point when I think he said this exactly that, he had conversation and he did it all the right way. He had conversations with the upper management and conversations with the leaders of the team and the organization. And they just, weren't heading in the same direction. Like their visions for where the team should go were not on the same space or same place. So, so then there becomes a time where, look, he got limited years to play yet. He's already 29. How many more years he got? Who knows? Anything could happen at any point, right? A career-ending injury could happen at any point. So give the dude a shot. And the Packers need to seriously go after this move, not the half-ass stuff that they sometimes do. And we were in the mix or we, pursued it, but then it didn't really make sense for us. There's no way it doesn't make sense. Lee's even talking.
That's the classic Goody line.
Yeah, right. Lee's even saying Willis, LVN, this year's first and next year's second seemed like a decent idea for Myles Garrett.
I think you're throwing Christian Watson too. The guy, we can only pay so many of these wide receivers, and his injuries and other things. He has some value. I think a team would be willing to look at him and be like, "Wow, this guy could be something."
Yep.
And Cleveland could sit on his contract and have him not do anything for half the year because their team's going to stink. It doesn't matter.
Sure.
We need a body on the team that can produce. And at this point, I'm not, if we get DK Metcalf and trade for him, I'm just telling you, these are the things as it's crazy stuff. Like we're talking about this, but we're watching teams do this in the NBA all the time.
They do it.
You just saw Luka Doncic get traded like after he bought a house, and it's crazy. And then Chris Middleton got traded the other day, which is something we've been talking about they should have never signed him back after he opted out of his contract a few years back. We talked about that, but that's besides the point. Mostly because he just doesn't fit the team. I mean, he did start coming off the bench this year as a 6th man, which was what he should have been doing the whole time. as like an off the bench scorer because it just doesn't fit with the starters because he wants the ball. And when you already got two guys who need the ball, he doesn't work with them. And that's why it was a good trade to get rid of him. And that's the type of thing you have to think about when you're looking at this team as a Packer team. Is LVN a guy who can really make things happen? Not right now. And we got to win now. And Goody needs to start thinking about winning now.
Yeah.
And he obviously doesn't draft players to win now. He drafts them to develop into something later. Well, if you keep drafting guys to develop into something later, you never win now.
Yeah.
Because tomorrow, later never happens. Because by the time those guys figure it out, you got 3 other draft classes that still haven't figured it out. So just go out and get a guy who knows how to do stuff, who can destroy a whole freaking offensive line by himself. Do it. Whatever it takes. If it takes trading Jordan Love, do it.
He ain't doing that.
I know he's not doing that. I'm just being funny.
But yeah, I mean, I think any of those, a number of those guys could be in the mix. I mean, I would say Wyatt could be a trade bait. I wouldn't like that one nearly as much as LVN, but LVN's definitely got to be a part of the package. That's different than what other teams would offer. If you need to give up something else too, fine. But if the Packers could get Garrett and they get back TJ Slayton, which I hope they do, and they get a veteran corner in here, I don't care who it is. If it's Gilmore, I'd love to see Rasul back, but who knows? But whatever, like give me a veteran corner who can play opposite Keyshawn, and then if Valentine is your third guy, fine.
See, I don't think they need a veteran corner, and I'll tell you why. If you trade for Myles Garrett,
yeah,
they ain't gonna have to cover for very long.
Okay,
Garrett,
but don't you think
he's a disruptor?
But like veteran corners are usually better at anticipating smart. Like Valentine is not that aware.
I don't know. What are you talking about? Valentine,
okay. He
left
was
his guy and made 2 picks this
better.
year off of being smart and keeping his eyes on the ball.
He was. I guess I'm just used.
Valentine just can't tackle. That's his problem. He's a skinny little guy.
Right. I was getting used to how smart Rasul was and how he just
Rasul's super smart.
with a great pass rush would be so good because he would would know the timing of stuff and then he'd just jump. He'd probably pick off a bunch of passes, but
yeah, he would. But
anyway,
that's all. I think we can.
Okay,
I don't think. Here's the thing: there aren't corners available on the open market who are.
We need more though. We need more bodies there.
Well, draft a bunch then.
Okay,
maybe one will be good.
They better get it.
We got Valentine somehow, and he's okay.
Yeah, he's fine.
I still think Kalen King could be something.
Yeah, is he still out there?
He's on the practice squad yet. Yeah. So,
okay, that's a body. That's a guy.
He's signed to a futures deal or whatever it was. So he's signed back to the team for this upcoming season.
He could be something. He could be a guy that could
they have his rights. So
Stokes is for sure gone. Are you telling me that
his contract's up?
Goody's going to part way with Stokes and Jair in the same offseason? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
He has no choice.
His 2 big first round corners that he drafted? Wow.
He has to. He has no choice.
He's gonna. That's a lot of pride swallowing for that guy. Holy cow. He's not used to that.
Yeah, and if he trades LVN, that's another pride swallowing thing going on too.
Goody's gonna do a lot of swallowing.
Yeah.
This offseason, that piece of garbage.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's the only way the Packers win. If Goody holds on to his pride too much, you're gonna have the same crap. Same boat, not effective enough guys, and the Packers don't get it done. Sorry, Wyatt's called me out. Carrington Valentine got 2 INTs, forced 2 fumbles while being forced to sit on the bench for half the season. He's got some. He's all right. I'm not saying he's bad. Maybe it is just a tackling thing. He's definitely better this year than he was the previous season, and maybe with more playing time. He would show up at times and try to be physical, and then he just back off after a little bit. And I hate guys. I've said it many times on our show. If your corners get involved in tackling and attacking those short screen passes and quick screens, and they get involved in tackling against the run game, makes a huge difference for your run defense. And so the Packers need guys like that. Keyshawn is a guy like that. Rasul was a guy like that. Other guys we've had are not guys like that. And you got to find corners that want to tackle, because if you don't have them, ultimately teams can just run it down your throat if they want. And the Eagles will do that to you. So if you want to get past the Eagles, you got to get corners that can tackle. Bottom line. Well,
Speaking of two corners who can tackle, both Quentin Mitchell and Cooper DeJean are up for Defensive Rookie of the Year as
I
we
saw
speak.
that. I saw that.
And we could have had either one of them. Just saying. Then we wouldn't have to worry about a corner because we would have drafted the right guy. Now we would have to worry about the offensive line this year, but I whatever. We can't go back in time and fix Goody's mess.
I get it.
Even though everybody on earth was calling for it, and he still won't do it, which is what he did multiple times in the past too.
Are you watching this thing? Should I check out the results right now?
What results?
What's ever going on in the awards show?
I'm watching it. If I'm just watching to see if Sterling Sharp makes the Hall of Fame.
Which
it hasn't gotten there yet. Right now, they're just doing Defensive Rookie of the Year.
All right, NFL honors. Whew. Josh Allen. Oh, how do you think about that too?
Dude, we got dead air. What are we doing?
Recapping real quick. Just one crazy thought about the championship games.
Yeah.
The Bills, in spite of questionable calls, in spite of other things that happened, the Bills did the ultimate stupid mistake that so many teams do and predetermined that it had to be Josh Allen. We were going to do everything through Josh Allen to try to win this game. When Cook had been cooking, like, give that dude the ball. I think he had 13 carries in the game. He had like 13 carries for 85 yards and 2 touchdowns. And you only gave him the ball 13 times, and you were running it well, and it was a close game.
Well,
if they would have given him the ball, they would have won the game.
I don't know about that, but what it does do, it did lead into the crazy blitz packages that the Chiefs ran against them. And, like, I don't know if you watched the O-line committee, but they went over some of those plays, and the last play of the game where they left the 4th down play. And they're like, just them, they're watching the film. They're like, wow, like, I don't know what Josh Allen's thinking here. He told the offensive line to shade to the left, even though there was 4 receivers lined on to the left and only 2 defensive backs. And there was 3 defensive backs on top of only 1 receiver to the right. And that's where they blitzed from. So it was clearly a zone, and he just missed it. Now, he still got that ball off, and it still had a chance to be caught. So that's remarkable there. But it was a pre-snap read that Josh Allen screwed up, or the offensive line screwed up. Whoever did it, like, it's simple. It's like, look at your formation that you're running. Look at the formation the defense is in based on what you're doing. If somebody's coming, it's hot, it's going to be over there because there's only 1 receiver to cover, and there's 3 defensive guys over there for 1 receiver. Like, that's dumb. Like, it's either going to be a zone that guy's going to be covered. So I don't know, I don't know. It's just, it was a bad play, and I think there's nothing we can do about that. Like, I just don't think Josh Allen he's got the arm, he's got the athleticism, he's an awesome guy, but apparently he doesn't quite get the whole, reading the defense and stuff like that. I don't know. He seems to have issues when it comes to that.
Well, they were too predictable too. They just, they didn't, I mean, it's just the thing. You can't try to make your quarterback the hero and the reason you win. They forced it, and that's why they lost. When you force that, you're going to lose. Same thing with the Ravens. If the Ravens had just run the ball, nobody was going to stop them, right?
They would have beat the Bills in the first place.
They'd have beat everybody. But they stopped running the ball, and they're like, no, we're going to pass it. Lamar's got to be the guy, right? No. Yeah. The Bills did it too. Josh Allen's got to be the guy. He's the face of the franchise. He's the guy that's been here so long. Cook has just been here a couple of years. Give the dude the ball. You're running the hell out of the ball. It's just one team that's not dumb enough to stop running is the Eagles.
Yeah.
They will just keep running the ball because they understand Jalen Hurts does not need to be a superstar for them to win.
Even though he might be able to be, like
he
he's
could
not.
be.
I think he's better than Jordan Love is. I think
Sure.
he's better than a lot of quarterbacks are, but he doesn't. And he's a humble guy and a coach's son, and he understands football, and he's not like a jerk. And he's like, hey, I just want to win. And if Saquon Barkley is the way we win with this amazing offensive line, then that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
And then that's, hopefully, I don't really care who wins, to be honest with you. I would like to not have the Chiefs win, so that, because they'll say they're the only three-peat Super Bowl winner, even though the Packers, of course, won 3 championships in a row, but the first one of those 3 in a row wasn't. Well, actually, they won 3 championships in a row twice.
Right.
But the second one was the one that had 2 Super Bowls. But because the first one of that 3 wasn't a Super Bowl yet, it was just a championship game. Well, the NFL championship game at that point. So I would like to see the Chiefs lose so they can't say, oh, we're the only team that won 3 Super Bowls in a row. But whatever. It really doesn't make too much of a difference.
You just sparked my interest in something here with this NFL honors stuff.
What?
When was the last time? Because I just saw that Jaden Daniels, NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
Talked about DeJean and Quentin Mitchell being up for Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Yep. When
was the last time the Packers had a Rookie of the Year, defensively or offensively?
Even nominated.
Right. Sure.
Not just one. When was the last time that I would like to know when the last time the Packers
look it up.
had a offensive or defensive Rookie of the Year nominated?
That
I don't care about winning. I just care about actually being nominated. When did they have the top?
Maybe Clay Matthews.
One of the top 10 players in the league. Top 5 on offense, top 5 on defense. Rookies drafted. I would like to know.
I was just like, when?
Because I can't think of one. I really can't. And that's why draft and develop.
Yep. I don't think there's many. I can't find one.
That's why it just blows my mind to hear the constant draft and develop, draft and develop, draft and develop. Even though the 2 times you won a Super Bowl, we had to go out and sign the Defensive Player of the Year or a Defensive Player of the Year type superstar defensive player. We didn't draft and develop that guy.
No.
We didn't draft and develop Reggie White. We didn't draft and develop Charles Woodson. We went and grabbed them and picked them up off the street.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, Reggie could go anywhere he wanted. And luckily, Mike Holmgren / God told him to come to us. But Charles Woodson had nobody that wanted him because he was kind of a pain in the ass.
Yep.
But his talent was there. But all everybody talks about is like, well, the Packers, they're such a great organization. They draft and develop, draft and develop. Well, they draft and develop into nothing. It doesn't lead to anything. The only time we've won is when they grab guys and get the superstars off the street from another team, steal them and grab them.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Everybody talks about how when you come to Green Bay too, because it's a small town and it's a college feel and all this sort of stuff, and there's not a whole lot of else stuff to do, that players can really just focus on football, right? So players that already love football take their games to another level. I mean, would Rasul Douglas have been as good as he was if he was in like LA or something versus Green Bay?
I don't know.
Maybe not. Probably not. I mean, because the guys say, well, I mean, all there is to do here is football. And most of them that love football like it because they're like, then I can, I don't have all the other distractions. And I can just focus on football. So that's another interesting thing. I don't know why I hadn't put that together before, probably because I'm not very smart. But
well,
if the Packers would put that into their mix of evaluating players who they draft and making sure they're guys that love football, like the Lions have and some other teams have said, we want to make sure these guys love the game. Like they eat it, breathe it, sleep it. Like this is what they want to do. They don't have a whole bunch of other things they want to be doing and distractions and yada, yada, yada. wouldn't you think that would be a perfect marriage of guys who really love football, bring him to a place where there isn't a whole bunch of other distractions and it could just be about football, and those guys could focus on it, concentrate on it, and really reach their full potential? You would think that more often than not, if you were evaluating players similarly talented, and this dude maybe was just a little bit slower but loved the game of football and was like a football junkie, and you drafted that guy in Green Bay, he might become a better player than the other dude. That would just be something I'd factor in.
Well, I will say this. 2 guys we drafted this year were on the defensive all-rookie team, and that was Evan Williams and Cooper and, Edgerrin Cooper. Both of those guys made the defensive, rookie team. Or the rookie team, whatever it is.
If they had played, started.
I think Jaden Reed made it last year as wide receiver. Well, maybe he didn't actually because there were so many good receivers last year.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
I don't think he did actually make it. But
if those 2 guys had, like, if Cooper had started, not been hurt, they both had injuries.
They both had injuries and didn't play the whole year. And they still were top players in the league.
If it wasn't like the PFF rookie team or something like that.
Maybe that's what it was. I don't know.
That's what it was. Either way, it was the PFF rookie team because they were just looking at what they did versus like the totality of the season. But if those guys had not been injured, I think those could have been 2 possibilities of actually being up for defensive rookie of the year. But they didn't play enough games to be in that conversation.
Yeah.
And that was the other thing. We always have all these defensive backs that are hurt all the time. Well, I think DeJean and Mitchell played like every game, right?
Probably. I don't know. I'm not an Eagles fan, but
pretty sure they did.
Okay, they're doing the Hall of Fame right now.
All right, let's do it. Live on YouTube. You're going to find out.
Well, if anybody's watching, they can watch it on TV too.
They might not be watching on I can't watch it on my TV.
Why not?
What channel is it on? It's not on any
network.
I don't get no NFL network. I get I don't even get satellite. I get antenna TV, whatever free TV they give you. That's what I get.
Okay. Well, you got to talk some more while I'm paying attention to this. I got the sound off, but I'm looking down to see who's.
I got to keep burning up these free trial subscriptions when the Packers play games that are broadcast on some special thing.
On Peacock.
Yeah, Peacock or NFL Network or whatever, where it's not on an actual TV. Then I got to burn up a free trial subscriction, and I can't.
Jared Allen made the Hall of Fame.
Jared Allen. Come on, Cowboy.
Cowboy? What? He's a Viking. Viking and a Chief.
That was a stupid thing. It was like cowboy. He was like a cowboy.
Yeah, he was funny.
How did he make the Hall of Fame? Like right away? Is this like?
No, I don't think this is right away. But it's.
No, he's old enough that it's been a little bit. But still,
it's been a little bit.
I'm gonna look him up. Jared Allen versus Sterling
Sharp. Sterling Sharp.
Finally.
That's not Sterling Sharp. That's
Eric Better Allen. Be Eric Allen? Okay.
They're showing the wrong guy. There he is. Come on, show the right guy. Sterling made it. Sterling made it.
Are you sure? You're not screwing with me?
No, I'm not. I'm not screwing with you. Sterling made it.
After how many years of waiting?
I don't know, but he's got a big gut. That suit's way too tight on him. But man, it looks beautiful. He's getting a lot of hugs from all the.
He's actually there?
He's there.
That's awesome.
Ray Lewis just gave a big hug. Kurt Warner's giving a big hug.
Everybody should give Sterling a big hug.
Everybody knows he deserves to be there. Everybody knows he should have been there a long time ago.
Every football
they're taking a long time. Now it's Eric Allen. And the stupid video camera guy went to the wrong. He showed Eric Allen. They didn't show Sterling Sharp coming down.
What an idiot.
Yeah, that was really dumb.
He is 59 years old. He's almost 60 years old. Jesus.
Well, Leroy Butler is hugging Eric Allen.
Sterling is almost 60 years old before he finally gets in. What the hell?
Well, he's in. He's in, baby. That's awesome.
He last played. His last season was 1994.
Wow, really?
Jesus Christ.
Antonio Gates made it to the Hall of Fame this year.
He had to wait 30 years. Jesus.
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
But he's in, man.
Good. I can't wait to hear his speech.
Now we need Mike Holmgren to be in too.
I can't wait to hear Sterling's speech.
We got to see if Holmgren made it.
'Cause Sterling's a good speaker too, and he's funny.
I wonder if they're only doing. They might only be doing these 4 guys because they'll do the other people that made it later on in the show or something.
Damn. That's breaking news. You heard it here on Hafen Bros. Sterling Sharp,
Yeah,
finally,
Sharp.
Hall of Famer.
That's awesome.
That is good. That's freaking amazing.
All right, cool. Well, hey, that's all I need to know. Well, I'm not gonna. I think we should probably, keep my eyes peeled for Mike Holmgren later on in the show. It looks like they just did 4 guys, announced 4 guys now, and then probably announce the other 4 a little bit later on in the show or whatever. Maybe at like 9:30 or something.
There you go. Big news, big news, big news. The big news of the night, other than the Packers need to get Myles Garrett, and we just figured out how they can easily do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Myles Garrett, LVN, straight up. Just kidding. Give them however many picks they want. Get rid of some other garbage guys too that you don't need. Packers got plenty of players, so get rid of them. Plenty of guys who aren't that impactful, so send them on their way. But Sterling Sharp in the Hall of Fame at the age of almost 60. He turned 60 in April, so he's 59 still right now. Probably the best receiver of our lifetime.
Oh, Todd's saying that Fox 11 has it in Northeast Wisconsin.
All right.
So if somebody wants to watch that, and there's still a chance Mike Holmgren's name might be called yet because he is one of the finalists too.
Let's so. Yeah, let's hope so.
So as like a contributor or whatever the hell it is, or coach or whatever the hell, because they always get they have because now Sterling made it. He didn't make it as a regular player. He made it as a senior player or whatever. Something, I don't know what exactly the title is, but it's
yeah.
Because last year was the last year he could have made it as an official player because it was 30 years, like you said. And in his first year as I don't know what they call it, but.
Well, now Todd's got me checking out, see if Fox is carrying it here. I don't know. I just turned it on. Let's see. We'll see, Todd. But Sterling Sharp finally in. That's well-deserved. Dude was the most dominant player Brett Favre ever played with. And also the best receiver we've ever seen.
Yeah. Greatest Packer receiver in our lifetime.
And some people say Jerry Rice was better, but
no.
Jerry Rice was different. He couldn't do some of the stuff that Sterling could do, but anything Jerry Rice could do, Sterling could do. So that tells you who's better.
Yeah, Sterling was better.
Sterling,
I can tell you this much. I never saw Sterling Sharp drop a ball. I never saw Sterling Sharp drop a pass. In all the years I watched him in a game, never did I see him drop a pass. Yep. And Jaden Reed dropped 9 passes just this year. So think about that. Think about that, Packer fans. That's how good Sterling Sharp was.
Other big news of the week.
The other team would triple team him. They double team and triple team him, and he still caught every damn pass.
He'd out physical you if you were faster than him, and he'd outrun you if you were bigger than him. Oh, maybe this crap is on Fox. What the hell? It is. Okay. All right. I didn't know that Fox was carrying this stuff. I thought this was an NFL thing, but Fox has got it. Wow. Well, if Saquon better win the MVP, I mean, it's...
Well, he won Offensive Player of the Year, but...
Oh, that's annoying. Because then they'll probably give it to Josh Allen.
The Defensive Player of the Year was Patrick Surtain II. Even though, Myles Garrett was up for it, and Trey Hendrickson, or whatever his name is, the guy from I don't know what his last name is, but the guy from the Bengals who had the most sacks this year, TJ Watt. And are you ready for? Do you know who the fifth player was who was up for Defensive Player of the Year? You'll never guess.
Fifth player for Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah. He didn't win it, obviously, but I'll give you a hint.
Oh,
he signed a 1-year deal this year to be on the team he was on, and now he's going to get paid
for Defensive Player
of the Year. He signed a 1-year deal. His first 4 years in the league, he was pretty much a practice squad or a special teams guy. Barely played.
Oh, Zach Bond.
He was one? It was like big name, big name, big name, big name. Zach Bond.
That's awesome.
Because he had 151 tackles this year.
Yeah, he's a maniac.
Plus all the plays he made and picks and stuff like that. So
that's so crazy that the Saints never did anything with him. And I mean, I don't know they had good linebackers, but it's so crazy.
Oh.
It just shows you like sometimes dudes just need a chance. And when they get on the field and they are productive, you should probably think that's a good player. I might want to keep them on my team. Just a thought. Rather than going on your projections or your draft analysis or whatever the hell you go off of. Snoop is talking to Roger Goodell right now. That seems dumb.
And Curtis Martin is sitting next to
Curdy Martin. Yeah.
Curdy Martin. He was a good running back. He's better than Josh Jacobs, too. Oops, did I say that out loud? Yes, I did.
Was he really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I don't care if Saquon already won Offense Player of the Year. He should win MVP, too. He's that good.
He should, but he probably won't because people are dumb.
And he should have been a Packer this year, but whatever. What's the last... Look at these guys. Who are these cats? Wow,
you're ahead of me. You're ahead of me, so I don't know.
So I'm watching network broadcast here.
I'm watching my phone.
Well, that's
all right.
it.
We should go. Hang her up.
That's it for tonight. Keep watching this. You're watching Sterling Sharp. The big news. Oh, other big news this week. I'm sorry, I forgot. Mason Crosby finally hung it up. Retired.
Oh, yeah. I think we all knew he retired. Well, he didn't retire, but he retired.
Will Aaron Rodgers suffer the same fate? Like no one wants him, so then he'll just have to retire?
I think that might happen.
Mason is still the all-time leading scorer for the Green Bay Packers, right? He's still one of the best Packer kickers in history.
Dude, Chris Jackie was better than him.
I know, but Mason outscored him. What do you want?
Chris Jackie was better.
Does now they're showing tight end university stuff. Does Tucker Graff get invited to tight end U this year?
I don't know.
He did well better.
Really, it's Kyle Juszczyk. He's a fullback. Why is he talking about tight end U?
They're showing Georgie Kittle stuff.
You're ahead of me. I'm just seeing Juszczyk with some nerdy guy with glasses talking.
Yeah. All I know is Tucker Kraft better be at tight end U this offseason. Tucker Kraft is the man. Fart Blaster. What is that? Who makes yours? I don't know, Todd. Fart Blaster. Oh, it's the Salute to Service Award for George Kittle. Okay.
You gotta find some of those fart gifts I got for your kid.
I got them somewhere.
The butt ninja, the butt robot.
Robot.
Yeah. What was the ninja called?
Ninja was
anyways.
Robot.
You gotta find those. They gotta show up on the show.
Ninja butt? I can't remember. Anyway.
I can't either. All right, we're just watching the NFL honors now. We're not even doing a show.
Now we feel like we're Negler and what's his name. All right,
yeah, we are. We're just like, hey, we're
sorry, I forgot to mention this is our last show for a while. We're taking a break here in the off season. Take a little time off. We'll be back before the draft. Get ready for the Green Bay draft.
Well, also if there's free agent signings or if there's
if Packers get
anything, if something big happens, we will come on and talk about it. Obviously.
If the Packers sign somebody good, we'll come in and applaud them for signing somebody good. If they sign somebody that's crappy, rather than coming and bitching about it, we'll probably just not do a show. How about that?
That'd probably be smart. I don't want to be. I want to try not to be negative, but it's tough. It's tough.
If the Packers do things we are excited about, we'll jump on and do a show. If they don't, we'll just let it be. We'll simmer on that, and then we'll try to make sense of it later. Anyway. All right, be good, guys. Enjoy the offseason. Enjoy the Super Bowl that is nobody wanted, but hopefully the Eagles run it like 80% of the time and win. And Saquon Barkley's Super Bowl MVP and gets his first Super Bowl, then at least there's a little something to be excited about. And it wasn't the other big news. Travis Kelce's going to retire. That's also exciting news, so that's good too.
He is?
That's what I thought. I thought he announced it before the Super Bowl here. So
I don't know. I don't pay attention.
Maybe it was an accurate headline, but If not, I'll start that rumor because I really hope it happens. Like Travis Kelce, you can retire now. You're not very good. You're old, and your mustache is terrible. So retire all of that, and we don't want to see you anymore. All right. Goodbye, guys. Enjoy the next month or so. We'll catch you again soon. Be good. Stay good. As always, go Pack.
Tell me why I got you to come. You're still high.